Hello, today we are going to be exploring the function of the central room at Anemospilia. If you haven't already taken a look at the videos on dating Anemospilia and the role of the corridor, please make sure that you go back and do that now. This is going to be focusing on questions 4, 5 and 6 as well from your workbook, so you can follow along in that. Okay, so this central room, we have this reconstruction here based on Sakellarius's hypothesis of what it looked like. They found up to 400 ceramic vessels in this room, and they also uncovered what could be part of a statuette, but we're going to try to work that out. So some of the main features of this central chamber, we have this mound, or potentially altar. It's what it is an exposed outcrop of the natural rock that has been left there. Quite unusual, not present in either the eastern or the western rooms. We also have this pair of clay feet, and we're going to try to uncover the meaning of both of them today. So we begin with the mound. It is an unhewn piece of hillside rock. Sakellarius believes that this sacred stone played a role in cult ritual, and that priests poured blood offerings to the deity that was worshipped there. Certainly we know that rock, along with sea and sky, are elements that the Minoans worshipped. We see a similar example of this in the Athenian Acropolis. So this is the Temple of Athena Nike, which is at the Acropolis, and you can see this, this beautifully hewn stone all the way around, and then this oddly shaped one that's been left. So obviously there is some significance here. Let's take a look at a few other different mounds that we find and pieces of sacred rock from around this area. This one here is interesting. It's a seal stone depicting the mistress of animals, and we see that this is really quite a common figure in ancient Crete, and you can see that she's standing on rocks that are forming a mound. We also have a ring seal as well, and you can see this female figure in the middle. We've got the tree. Trees are really common symbols in ancient Crete. And then we have this figure who is standing on what looks like another mound. This one is interesting. It comes from the Hittite kingdom. So we're thinking Asia Minor is the area. And you can see that this is a Hittite king who is presenting something to the gods, and which we will discover in our Persian exploration next year. You can see that he too is standing on a similar type of mound. So what I want you to do now is pause the recording and answer question 4 from your workbook. What was the significance of the mound? Okay, let's move on to the ceramic feet. So Sakellarius notes that these ceramic feet appear to have dowels at the top of them, so that something could be inserted into the top of them, and it's most likely to support a wooden body. So we actually see these a similar type of figure at the shrine at Carfi, and it seems as though the wooden body could also then be shrouded by a fabric garment as well. What we found around the feet were ash and pieces of burnt wood, and so it's quite likely that this was what was going on with these feet. And we call this type of statue a zaunon. Let's have a look at some examples of other examples of early religious statues. So this is what you can see on page 11 and 12 of your workbook. So just pause the recording, have a read through, see what you can see, any similarities to Anemospilia. But there is another possibility as to what these feet are. So we have the healing god Asclepios in ancient Greek mythology, and often people would dedicate different little statuettes of parts of their body that either have been healed or they are waiting to be healed at the healing sanctuary to Asclepios. So you can see here that we have everything from feet to entire legs, to breasts, faces, arms, anything that could possibly need to be healed, we have an example of. And so it's important to keep this in mind when we're thinking about all the possibilities of what these feet could be. In terms of our historians' views, well, Sacchalaricus believes that this likely represents the Earth Mother, because we have that connection to the unhewn rock, that mound of earth, and this site was to house her cult statue. Postlethwaite, well, he believes that this site is the enactment of the death of the god Zeus, a particular type of Zeus, Cretinargenes. Excuse my pronunciation there. So, and the Earth Mother herself played an integral role in this story. Now, if you want to read about either of these two ideas, go to the Anemospilia resources on the Connect page and you can see the link to Sacchalaricus and to Postlethwaite. So what I'd like you to do now is pause again. This is the end of the recording, and think. Question 5. How should the ceramic feet be interpreted and reconstructed? Should they be interpreted as a zaunon, as a statue, or as a votive offering? Potentially, thank you for healing my feet, or please could you heal my feet? And I'd like you to answer question 6 as well. What was the central chamber used for? Make sure that you include 3 pieces of evidence in your report.